Hello and welcome to Our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. Our guest today is Dr. Christina Sisk. She is the new Director of Veterinary Services for the Humane Society here in Ventura County. And she also brought along one of her special guests as well. This is Riverside. He is a 12-week-old puppy.
That's
Thank
right.
you for joining us, both of you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. We'd like to congratulate you on your new position as well. You are the new Director of Veterinary Services, as I mentioned. And we want to hear a little bit more about the Humane Society here in Ventura County and all that you do for everybody.
Sure. Well, the Humane Society is a non-for-profit organization.
Okay.
We are not affiliated with any other organizations such as HSUS, the National Humane Society Organization, or the County Shelter in Ventura.
Okay.
Which means all of our funding comes from private donation, grants, trusts, donations from companies, individuals, things like that. So
Okay.
it's very important that we have the community support to do what we do.
Okay. Let's talk about the adoption process. And when someone comes to the Humane Society to adopt a pet, what are some of the guidelines and what are some of the things that they would need to know about?
So obviously, they should come and take a look at our animals. You know, they might have a specific thing in mind. I want a Dachshund, I want a German Shepherd, but
Okay.
they might come find a mixed breed or something else that tugs at their heartstrings that would be a better fit for them and their lifestyle.
Right.
So they should definitely speak to our staff, our adoption counselors, help them kind of fine tune the right dog for them. And then they're also going to need to consider how big that dog is, what size of a yard, what are going to be the exercise requirements. That's something we're going to think about too on our end because we want to make sure that dog is happy and stays in that home.
Right.
So
basically, do you ask a family when they're coming in some of these questions so that you're better prepared to place the dog with the right family?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we encourage everyone to come and look at our adoptable animals and then come talk to our staff about questions and we'll help make the perfect match for them.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about Riverside here. He's 12 weeks old and we want to find out like what the adoption process is for a puppy.
Sure. So
I'm sure you have different ages, you know, of dogs and cats. So let's certainly discuss a puppy and what happens when someone wants to adopt a puppy.
Right. This little guy came from one of our partner shelters in Taft. So we do get transfers from other partner shelters that are overcrowded from periodically to help them out and reduce their population.
Okay.
So he came in last week and the first thing we're going to do is he's going to get a physical exam.
Good.
We're going to make sure he's healthy on intake. He's not showing any signs of disease such as parvovirus, upper respiratory, things like that. If he does, we're immediately going to start treatment for that. He's a healthy little guy, so he got his first round of puppy shots, deworming, and then we went ahead and neutered him. So that's a requirement before any dog is adopted from our shelter. Once a puppy is spayed or neutered, we can make them available for adoption.
Wonderful. And in a case like this, with this particular dog, what are some of the needs that he will have once he goes to a new home?
The number one most important thing for him is socialization.
Okay.
And I feel like this is understressed with a lot of pet owners. There's a fear out there that if you take the dog into a public place, it's going to get sick from parvovirus, something like that. That's not necessarily the case. By all means, do not take your dog to a dog park, to anywhere where there could be wildlife, unvaccinated dogs, things like that. But you could take this puppy to Lowe's.
Right.
You could take this puppy to your friend's house who perhaps has other dogs that are friendly and vaccinated, things like that. We want this puppy out in the community, getting touched by people, meeting other dogs, meeting cats, because the more socialization this puppy has during his critical socialization period, which really ends at about 14 weeks, the better pup he's going to be later on in life, and the more happy he's going to be in your home.
Absolutely. And we did touch on spay and neuter before any animal is taken for adoption. Let's talk about the benefits of spay and neuter, which is so very important for many animals, and it really makes a difference for their lifespan too.
Absolutely, yeah. A study by Banfield Pet Hospital that they did recently amongst all of their hospitals, which are nationwide, really showed that dogs that are spayed and neutered at some point in their lives have sometimes years longer in their lifespan than dogs that are unaltered. Same thing with cats. So it's really important. As well, of course, we want to keep animals from reproducing because that keeps them out of our shelter.
Right.
As much as we love puppies like this, I'd rather that we had less puppies crowding the shelters,
Right.
And obviously, dogs can have health problems when they reproduce. Things don't always go as planned. That can lead to huge costs at the vet hospital, emergencies, things like that. So it's very, very important that we get them spayed and neutered and give them their long, healthy lives.
Right. You mentioned the Humane Society receives its funding from private donations and certainly grants, money, things like that.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's what keeps your clinic going.
It is.
Yeah.
The cost of our spay and neuter services are well below the cost to us. So what we charge is only a fraction of what it costs us to spay and neuter the animals. In fact, a lot of times our services are complementary. If people can't afford it, if there's issues around that, we will do these things free of charge.
Wow.
But it means that we need the community support to stay afloat because we're not going to do it charging what we do.
Absolutely, right.
Yeah, right.
What is something you would like the public to know about the Humane Society in Ventura County?
Well, I think that's the most important thing that we're touching at is that our organization cannot run without the support of the community.
Right.
Because we don't receive any sort of government funding, things like that, we really rely on the support of the community in the form of donations. Volunteers are critical to our organization. We have such a strong volunteer force. We do a lot of things such as disaster relief. Of course, most people heard of us during the Thomas Fire with the huge number of evacuees that we took in. Again, we really rely on the public support. We had a huge support from our volunteers during that time period as well.
So volunteers are really crucial to the organization as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is that something that you really continue to rely on then?
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. They're so critical to come in, get our dogs out for walks, get them into the play yards, socialize with them. Cats as well. Every day I see volunteers in our cat rooms playing with the cats, socializing with the cats.
That's really good.
It's really wonderful to see.
Absolutely. As a veterinarian and the new director of veterinary services, I'd like to know a little bit about your background and what brought you to Ventura County to this position.
Sure. Well, it's been a little roundabout.
Okay.
I'm from Illinois. I went to the University of Illinois.
Yes.
And after that, I practiced in Chicago for about 7 years at a private practice just outside of the city.
Right.
While I was there, I got involved with an organization called PAWS, which stands for Pets Are Worth Saving. It is a huge non-for-profit spay-neuter organization, adoption organization in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
I started as a spay-neuter vet for them and got into shelter medicine as well. Found I really liked doing shelter medicine as well as private practice. So what actually ended up happening is my family all abandoned me in Illinois. I got sick of the cold weather and decided to head west. So my brother moved out here and started a family. Then my parents followed soon after to Ojai, of all places. And I decided I had had enough of the cold weather
One
as
trip
well.
out here and that's it. You're definitely leaving Chicago, just like I did.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a couple of
That's
65-degree Christmases
That's
and I was
it.
sold.
That's right.
So here I am.
Good for you. Well, yeah, I just wonder, what are some of your duties now? Being the Director of Veterinary Services, what are some of the things you oversee at the Humane Society?
Sure. Well, we have a clinic on the premises that primarily does spay and neuter for the shelter animals, such as Riverside here, as well as for the public. So we have a staff of an RVT, that's a registered veterinary technician. She's gone to school and has passed tests to allow her to be a registered vet tech, which is great. And then we have 2 veterinary assistants who assist her in doing our spay-neuter surgeries. So basically, on a daily basis, we're doing our spay-neuter surgeries in the morning, and then in the afternoons, we're doing exams on our shelter animals. We're looking at any new intakes that have come in, whether they're strays, owner relinquish, transfers such as Riverside here. We're checking to make sure all the new ones coming into our shelter are healthy. And then we're also doing checks on any of the animals that maybe are showing signs of illness. Cats that have started sneezing, dogs that might have a runny nose, things like that. So
Do you then separate animals then when you see that?
Yes, absolutely. We have an isolation area that we use for any sick animals to make sure that they're not spreading illness among the population.
Okay, good. And what about, adoption for somebody that's coming in and looking for a puppy such as this? will this particular puppy be available soon?
He is. He's available as of today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's wonderful. You're ready to go home.
yeah,
huh?
we try to get our puppies out of the shelter because they don't belong there. They belong in a home where they're going to learn
Good.
potty training, where they get a lot of socialization in the shelter, but that's not going to be their permanent home. So they
Right.
need socialization in a home setting.
About how many animals do you care for at any given time?
Our shelter holds roughly 50 dogs and I'd say
Okay.
20 to 25 cats. So the population ebbs and flows. Obviously, we might get a large transfer of dogs in, sometimes up to 20 dogs at a time, which will put us at max capacity.
Right.
But dogs like these little guys go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll get a mother in with 8 puppies, and that'll really expand our population.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're as little as 2 weeks old.
Ugh.
Those dogs need to stay in our shelter until they're properly
Right.
weaned from mom, which doesn't happen until between 6 and 8 weeks.
Okay.
And
And same with cats,
Same
too.
with cats,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
If they have a litter of kittens that comes in, they have to stay for a
Right.
good 8 weeks.
Exactly.
Good.
And if they have their mom with them, that's all the better. We would never separate them because having that mom there is critically important.
Right. What are some of the future goals of the Humane Society here?
Yeah, well, obviously, our biggest goal is going to be fundraising because we desperately need a new dog shelter.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Our dog kennel is in need of a lot of repairs,
Okay.
and almost to the point where it'd be better just to knock it down and start over. So we do have plans for a new dog kennel. We
Okay.
have some designs pulled up, but we need funding, and it's going to be a big project.
So if someone is interested in donating, whether it be their time or funding to the Humane Society, where would they do that?
The first place to go is our website,
Okay.
which is hsvc.org.
Okay.
You can find information about volunteering there, how to donate, other services we provide, such as humane education.
Oh,
We
good.
also have 2 humane officers who will go out to investigate any cases of animal cruelty, neglect, anything that the public draws our attention to. We have people that will go investigate that.
Okay.
From there, you're always welcome to call us. Our receptionist staff is very helpful and friendly. They'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
And also, if somebody is interested in being a volunteer, I would imagine that's a great
Yeah,
opportunity
it
to be a
is.
volunteer there.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things you require of a volunteer? Is there a certain age?
There is. I don't know exactly what that is, but
Okay.
Amanda is our volunteer coordinator, and she runs monthly training sessions
Nice.
for all of our volunteers.
Oh, good.
Kind of finds out what you're interested in and tailors your interest to what we can offer for you, whether it's cats, dogs, things like that. Some people like the horses. You shouldn't forget to mention the horses on our
Good.
property.
Oh, that's nice. How nice.
They always need help, cleaning up, mucking
Right.
out their pens, feeding.
Oh, that's
Yep,
great.
Yep. So there's a lot of opportunities for volunteers.
So volunteers could come even, just at your leisure if you have the
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
Definitely come and make a difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
Even if you're
really
coming
help.
for an hour, 1 day a week,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's always something that can be done. A puppy that might need snuggling.
That's right. Like him.
Like him.
That's right. Well, we do hope that Riverside will get adopted.
I'm sure he
And
will.
at 12 weeks, he looks like he's going to be a big boy, though.
Yep. I imagine he'll be over 50 pounds.
Really?
So, yeah.
So that is something to let an adoptive family know about. How big
Absolutely.
he's going to get, what kind of yard he needs, and that
Right.
kind of thing. So those are all important things to definitely include.
Right.
Well, we would like to thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Give us the website one more time for
It's-
folks who want to get some information.
hsvc.org. So
Very
Humane
good.
Society of Ventura County.org.
Wonderful. Dr. Christina Sisk, the new veterinary director
Thank you for
at the
having
Humane
me.
Society here in Ventura County. And thank you so much, Riverside, for joining us. You are a wonderful guest, and he could come back anytime, hopefully with your new owner.
That would be great, huh?
That would be great. And thank you again. I do appreciate
Thank
you
you
being
for
here
having
with us
me.
and telling us about the Humane Society. And thank all of you for joining us today on OurVentura TV. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.